Hello, good people. It's time for an episode of Creatively Shaded, your destination for all things Bay Area theater and beyond, honey, where the dish is served and the tea is hot. So let's join our hosts, Bay Area Black artists,
Elizabeth Jones,
ShawnJ West,
Phaedra Tillery Belton.
Come peek behind the curtain.
Hey!
What up?
How you doing, baby?
Welcome
to
back.
another episode of
Creatively Shaded.
where the tea is hot
Oh, is it hot?
And the
and the truth is boiling.
come on, wow, come on and boil
Boiling.
the
I
truth.
like that.
A
Ooh.
boiling truth. We
Boiling
are
truth.
gonna
Well.
tell the truth and
Shame the devil.
Shame
Hey.
the devil.
And this ain't even Sunday. I'm not a church person, but anywho.
All right. We are so excited to have everybody here with us. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for supporting us, sharing. We are excited. So shall we do it, y'all?
Let's do it.
All
Are
right.
we really gonna do it?
I knew you was gonna go there. I knew you was gonna go there. It's in your spirit.
Every time he go there, I'm going to do something.
Come on, shoulders.
Are you really gonna do
Come on,
it?
shoulders. So we've been out. Well, they've been out in these theater streets.
Yes.
And we had. Well, I keep saying we because I wasn't there.
It's okay.
You've been busy.
Creatively Shaded had a chance to go and witness Wild with Happy.
Yes. So Wild with Happy, directed by our very own Sir Diva, ShawnJ. Woo! Excellent. Okay, so what is Wild with Happy about?
Are you asking me?
Yes.
Wild
Summarize
with
it.
Happy tells the story of a middle-aged gay man, Black American gay man, who loses his mother, and the journey of dealing with grief and the many contributing factors that inform and get in the way of his dealing with that grief and celebrating the life of his mom. So you have an aunt, a best friend, a funeral director, all challenging his spirit to find his way to where he needs to go.
Okay.
Yes.
No spoilers. That's what I was really being aware of.
Yes, and it was so much fun to be there. I was laughing. I was enjoying myself. It was heartfelt. Oh, I love watching ShawnJ work.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I really do.
that's beautiful.
It was a beautiful experience, and I had an opportunity to give some of you all a sneak peek behind the scenes. And I had interviewed some of the actors and met some of the designers and gave you a sneak peek. That's on our socials right now, in case you want to check it out. But the overall experience is incredible. Everybody needs to come and see that. Excuse me. Everyone needs to come see the show. Wild with Happy, written by Coleman Domingo.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. Academy Award nominated Coleman
Come
Domingo.
on, come on.
Bay
We
Area's
gotta
own.
support our black men in the theater.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's beautiful. Congratulations, ShawnJ.
Thank you.
How was opening night?
Opening night was magical. It was one of those things, and I had a new look for opening night. And it was great to finally see an audience reaction. I mean, we had previews, but I think that night, because of opening night, the actors were like tuned in, and they were just firing on all cylinders, and they were
Nice.
connected. It was nice to see every note that I gave them show up in the way in which they
Put it in their body.
put it in their
Yeah.
body, and it was just it's like watch. I don't have kids, so a play is like my child.
Yeah.
And the actors in it are like my children. When I see them level up, and I just say, yes, it was magical. I was very proud of them. Very proud
So
of them.
proud.
Congratulations.
And I got a bookmark. It was so cute. I was so excited. I was like, they have bookmarks.
Oh.
It was
They
really
put them in
cute.
the programs.
Yep.
How nice. I love
Very
a
nice.
gift, honey. I love a gift.
The parting gift.
Yes. And then we saw Jesus Christ Superstar at Berkeley Playhouse.
All right.
All right. So, So what is Jesus Christ Superstar basically about? It's a rock opera. There is no dialogue, so there's tons of singing, and it basically tells the story of the passion of Christ, right? Leading up to the days of his crucifixion.
Okay.
And specifically highlighting on Judas and the relationship that they had. And Mary Magdalene, and how everyone is kind of fawning over Jesus, but then not fawning. So that's basically the plot, and it leads literally up to his crucifixion. Mm-hmm. Yep. So that's the plot.
So it was written in 1970s, in the 1970s, and I will say this: so it had a lot of actors, performers who were in Legally Blonde. So it was nice to see them. Hannah, Jesus, Z, Sydney, and then she was in Sign My Name to Freedom, Luca.
Okay.
And they did an amazing job, right? I think the performers should be very proud because the ensemble, they did a great job.
Yes, they did.
My
they
challenge is with the source material. That's all. It's just it's 1970s. For me, it challenges, especially when everything's song. I was like, I was hard to really connect because I really needed some dialogue to some degree. Yeah. And I think because it's written in the way it's written, song-wise, it's hard to track what's being said. Yeah. Because everything, like you're grasping for like,
what did they say?
What did they say? Or trying to find the plot.
Especially if that's not your, like if you're used to hearing dialogue.
Right.
You go to see a play that is sung dialogue, it takes your ear a minute to get used to receiving information in that form.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I think they did wonderful. Like no knock to them at all. I know it's just the material itself from the 1970s. How do you bring it to a period of 2025?
Yeah.
And again, I'm not a religious person. So I don't really, like, even though my mom was a minister and I grew up in a hot church, but that's all you heard. When I go see something that's really heavily informed by religion, I'm always a little like, yeah. So I think, but they did great. I mean, go see it for the performances because they are wonderful and stellar. I think it's just that you have to be okay with a rock opera.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and at the time of this taping, unfortunately, the show would have closed. But I will speak to what you were talking about. So I am someone who is a believer. I believe in God. I have a unique, interesting relationship with the church. I don't go, but I am a very spiritual person. I believe in God. And so for me, I was really looking for, at the heart of the story is Jesus and how an innocent person was crucified, was murdered. To me, like ShawnJ said, because there wasn't any dialogue, I didn't feel anything. I didn't feel exactly the weight, the stakes, like what was really happening. It seemed as if the singing just kind of glossed, they just moved through the storytelling. And sometimes there were moments when I really leaned in because I was trying to listen to the actual lyrics. Sometimes I couldn't hear them clearly.
Okay, wait, can I ask a question?
Yes.
When you say you couldn't hear them clearly, are we talking about the sound in the space, or are we talking about the written words and the way they're written?
So the sound in the space was not my issue.
Okay, great.
It was
Thank you
the
for
articulating. It was the articulation of the songs and the lyrics, because the way that some of the songs were sung, there was a lot of like, you know how we sing these days?
What is she?
So what I mean by that, add all the extra runs. I would have really liked if they would have pared a lot of that down so that we could hear the dialogue. To me, simplicity is the most clearest way to penetrate without all of the extra fluff of the and all of that. It sounds really good. But sometimes especially if there's no dialogue, you want to get to the root of the story.
Listen, that is a great word now. That is a great word. And I think that I think a run needs to be strategically placed. I'm not a runner. I always say I'm a jogger.
Think you're gonna run on?
I like to jog. I like to trot.
Trot on them.
I like to, trot. 1-2 step. But I also know that it needs to be, especially when it's a rock opera, when that is being how you get the story.
Right.
You have to be very careful in where you place those runs so they don't affect the storytelling. So that's a great word. I appreciate that. I agree with that 1,000%.
Well, and also rock musicals don't lend themselves to really running. They lend themselves to that rock I don't want to do that.
Right,
that,
right,
that
that-
rock type
Yeah.
of
Right.
that
That
growl.
grunge, yeah. And I
Yeah.
guess that's maybe a singer's new way of bringing it to
Sure.
2025. Like because we don't connect with the material, I'm saying that maybe because we have a new younger generation being introduced to Jesus Christ Superstar, right? They're doing their spin on it,
Right.
But that is a note that when you do your spin, I mean, make sure that we get the story, and we always say here at Creatively Shaded, tell the story, and that's the most important part.
Absolutely.
Of it. So yeah, great note, Liz.
That
I
was
love
Jesus.
it. I love it. And
Then
yeah.
there was what? Fat Ham.
Woohoo! That was, we saw the final dress rehearsal.
Yes, we
the
did.
First dress rehearsal.
Final dress, sure.
It was
final
first.
dress, sure. It was the one before the preview started.
Oh, okay, yeah. Wow.
The preview started the very next day. You guys
Okay.
came the 19th? No,
Yeah,
18th.
Yeah.
The 19th was it's day one of previews.
Okay.
All right, so here's what I want us to do. I want us to give a little bit of an explanation of what a dress rehearsal is versus a preview versus the opening night and the rest of the run.
Before we do that, we want to
Yes.
talk about what Fat Ham is.
Okay.
And it is about a Black American family.
Liz excited, y'all. She can't wait to talk about it. I'm excited.
I wrote that and I skipped over it.
And the inspiration for Fat Ham is Hamlet,
Yes.
Shakespeare's Hamlet.
Thank you, ShawnJ.
However, everyone doesn't die in the end, which is great. But it's about a family, a Black family. Is it in Louisiana? Not Louisiana.
It's in, please forgive me, either South Carolina or North Carolina. So it's
Okay.
one of the Carolinas, but it's in the South.
Who
right?
get together for a barbecue after the death of the
wedding
family-
barbecue.
A wedding barbecue after the death of the patriarch of the family, who is I don't want to give that away.
Yeah, I don't.
Yep.
Go
It's
see it.
basically
Yeah.
it's a Hamlet. It's Hamlet, and if you don't know Hamlet, it's a story. It's a story of a Black family and what happens in the backyard at the barbecue.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got the mom and the son. You got friends, their family. Everybody comes over, and what happens at this barbecue? So yeah, it's a fun time. It's a fun roller coaster of emotions. I feel
Yes.
like.
Uh-huh. We had such a great
It's
time.
funny. It's dramatic. It moves, and it's just great to see us on stage where we're not referencing
100%.
white folks.
100% Black.
Yeah.
On stage.
It doesn't. It has not. It's not about the white gays at all. It doesn't
all.
have anything to do with white gays. But it also is really just about family.
About
Yep.
family, which is universal.
And so, which is universal, and it allows us to be family in the way that we are, and also allows a peek into
A little peek.
a little peek into what it goes on, and the isms and
Yes.
and the laughter and how we pick at each other and how we have to heal from long trauma,
Yep.
long-term trauma that our families have experienced, and how
Absolutely.
we laugh through them.
Yeah. And sing through it and dance.
And what's great is, though you all were on stage presenting that, it was not an insulated experience.
Right.
It was you all shared with the audience. So it was a give and take.
Yeah.
Whereas
Yeah.
we've seen shows where what's happening on stage is happening in its own kind of void.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make it off the stage into the audience. So the audience isn't really experiencing it. They're just simply observing something, but they don't get to tap into like, oh, I felt that. Whereas with Fat Ham, you get to really go, ooh, oh, like you're
Yeah.
audible.
you are invested in the experience of what's happening on stage with these people.
Yes.
It's written well.
Yes.
very well.
Let me tell you, it is written really well, which allows the actor to really just have a good time with it. So it allows us to engage with the audience. It allows us to have a relationship with you all. And that has been the funnest part of having an audience now, because we're now in previews. And it's been really fun to see what is and we're learning what's working, what doesn't work. And the things about it is it's never the same.
Right.
So don't change your delivery because one night it works and one night it does, and the audience is giving and feeling, and I'm loving coming out and having the conversations with people about how these characters are reminiscent of people that they know, or what, that's me right there, and I'm like, I love hearing that we're being seen as people in your family and people in your lives.
We get that when we do Wild with Happy.
Yeah.
Everyone goes, oh, I have an auntie just like that. And I say, going, oh yeah, it is universal because we know someone like that in our life.
But we love to see ourselves.
And we love to see ourselves. We celebrate seeing ourselves.
Yeah,
we do.
because
So
it makes
rare.
us feel not so isolated.
Yeah.
Sometimes we feel isolated in our homes and our stories in our lives, and we get, especially right now in our world, times are hard, and we almost feel like it's only happening to us.
Yeah.
And going to see theater makes us laugh at ourselves and be like, wow, it's not just happening to me. There are people next to me that are experiencing this, or that can laugh at this, that don't necessarily look like me, but can understand the pain and the struggle of family and relationships. So I'm honored to tell this story.
Yes.
I'm honored to be in the space and the stage that it's on. I'm honored to be under Margot's direction. I'm honored to be on stage with my castmates. I am having a ball, but I'm also consistently learning.
Which I love.
Consistently learning from every person in the room. Like, oh, that was a choice, friend. Yes. Okay. Thank you for doing that. I didn't think of that, or I didn't consider that.
Right.
You know, and then we even had an understudy had to drop in a rehearsal, and that even changed us. And we was like, ooh, but it was beautiful to watch her step into that position in a rehearsal. And we were like, okay, come on and be off book, and come on. It was just
Ready.
ready. Oh my gosh. She was so ready. So ready. And that was beautiful to watch, but also us congratulating her and congratulating each other. This is a good one, y'all.
Yes.
If you miss it, ooh, your bad.
Yeah. So briefly, when we came in on the dress rehearsal, it just basically means that that's the first time that the cast is performing with their costumes, with their makeups, trying out stuff with the set. And then what'll happen is that things will get fixed, and then they'll move on to the preview, and they're testing it out in front of another audience, right? And then by the time you get to opening, everything is set.
Yeah.
And so that's when the director typically hands over the show to the cast and said, here is your baby.
Right. Like, for instance, my hat. I'm sure the night that you guys came, my hat was really low, and you probably couldn't even see my face. So that's something that we talk about after that night. Like, okay, we have to pin this hat a certain way so that we can see her. She has to turn this way. So that's what happens in, like, previews and things like that. My stockings were, like, the wrong color under the lights because of the lighting. That's something that you change in previews. Something that's not working, you walk behind someone and the lighting is not right. So that's what previews and dress rehearsals are doing, is, like, just trying to make sure that once we get to opening night, we're set and we know exactly, like, you're gonna get the best of it going forward. But I mean, we already getting down, so I'm even in previews. I'm feeling a little cocky about this one. I want to have to pray that in my spirit.
Cocky.
You should.
It's
It's confidence. There's a difference.
I'm really proud of this piece.
Of course.
It
You should be.
is really near and dear
You've
to
been
my
working
heart.
your ass off.
Yeah.
And
You
we're
all have been,
excited.
yeah.
We're coming back.
And it shows that there is work being done on the stage. And I think that's what people don't understand is I don't see the acting. I see the story unfolding.
Because it's truth.
Right? And I think that's what a lot of actors, directors need to always remember. Don't do it. Just be it and let it be it.
That was a no from Margot in the room. Like, yo, you are these people.
Yeah.
Like, be inside of them. Come in, living, and tell their truth. Fight any kind of line, notes, anything that you are holding back. Fight against it and become these people. And it's, like, so amazing to be in a room that when people just understand you and how to talk to people and how to get people to move forward. It's beautiful to watch, man. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
It's been great.
The craft of acting and directing.
Yes.
It is a craft.
Yes.
It is.
Craft.
You put in work, okay? All right, so we're moving on to segment 2, and this one is called I Got Hella Followers, so cast me.
Oh, child.
Actors who are relying heavily on social media to book a gig. Okay, so I was scrolling on Facebook, and there's this really cool group called Theater Folks of Color, and they posted an article via Onstage blog written by Chris Peterson, and he asked a question: should an actor's social media following impact their casting? And that made me think, or made us think, we're gonna actually flip that, and we're gonna flip it because that's what we do at Creatively Shaded, and we're gonna ask or say social media isn't the end all be all. You gotta still put in that work if you want to book that gig.
Yeah, and we were discussing about that original article, how I think in Hollywood maybe when you are doing film work,
That is the truth.
they do that because they are able now to tap into your social media following. But in theater, I personally think it's different because I may have 200 followers, but if half of those live in Virginia or Missouri,
Right.
that's not going to help me get an audience to see this show because I only know maybe 50 who are in the Bay Area.
Exactly.
So I think in Hollywood, because that film is going to go nationwide, the more followers you have, you can tap into that. I just don't think social media for the use of theater is really, it's helpful. It's helpful, but we shouldn't rely on that. And I say that same thing for theater companies. Social media is not the end all be all. It has to be multiple venues in which to get your information out there.
Yeah.
But like as an actor, I think you can, like if I'm auditioning for something and I go, hey, check out my social media. And on my social media, I have all my plays, right? And then I can, it's like your digital resume. Then great. As opposed to having a reel, I can now go there and go, okay, but if all you got is a bunch of pictures of you looking cute and eating food.
That don't do nothing for me on stage. I don't care about your social media. I'm casting for S2 back home. I don't care about your social media. I mean, when it comes to marketing, maybe once you're cast, we'd like to tap into, you sharing and getting the word out about coming to the show. But honestly, it's really about what you can do and can you move people in a space? Can you, when you get the butts in the seats, what are you doing with what you're on stage? Like when you're on stage, are you moving people? Are you telling a story? Are you a storyteller? Like, I don't know. And to be honest, a lot of people that I really fool with that are really good at what they do don't even fool with social media. So no, it doesn't make a difference for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These are all the things that were also in the article. In addition to, we also know that your social media talent may not translate to theater talent. So you might be doing your best, monologue or, skit or whatever you've put together. And then when you get into that theater and you are in front of real people and you audition, it might not.
Yeah. On stage.
That is the truth.
It's like, because I did see an article or something where they were saying someone went to this black box and the actors were mic'd. And it was like, in a black box theater, they were mic'd.
Well, okay, so listen, I was, I come from musical theater land, right? Like, so stepping into Fat Ham, which is not musical theater, I was like, "We having mics?" And they was like, "No." And I was like, "Oh," right? Because I'm, and I was like, "Oh, but my loud ass, I got that, no problem. I know how to project."
Right.
But my brain was like, "Oh." They was like, no, Mike's over here. Come on, straight play world.
Well, and the thing is, because Mike's, it depends on like your venue, right? If you're in a large venue, the stage will be mic'd.
Yeah,
you
for
may
sure.
be mic'd. But the thing also when it comes to mics, if you are in a straight play, non-musical play, it kind of throws you out of it when you hear it amplified.
Yeah. It feels not real and not intimate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
True
that.
The rubbing of the mic or something like that. Whereas, and this article was like going, come on, folks, work on your craft. You should be able to project without
that's what stage work is, and that's like to say all that. Yeah, your social media can be all the, and some of y'all really good at it, and I applaud you. Liz is one of them people. But your social media you might be good. And listen, I'm okay at it. I do what I can. But I know that I'm a presence in the room. That's
right.
I know that. I know that about me. So I show up in the room.
Right.
So yeah.
So let's just end it with here. So social media, social media and technology has given creatives tools to make their craft more accessible by getting information about themselves, shows, and theaters at the touch of your latest phone.
And I just want to add to that.
Yes.
It's kind of related when it comes to social media. You know, when people send in an audition tape and because they can't make the audition, this is my advice to you all. Because I am not good at when someone sends me a self-tape for a play audition, but they're camera acting, I need you all to not camera act. I need you to actually
How are we doing that?
just simply act as if you were on stage, because when I'm casting for a stage production, but you're camera acting, because I've looked at all my submissions and going, oh, they're so subdued. Oh, they're playing smaller because it's the camera. But then I can't see it, and you don't get called in because I can't see it. So my tip, this is a ShawnJ tip, and I'm just saying this for me. If you are auditioning for me and you are sitting in a self-tape, I'm going to need you to go all out and video and tape yourself as if you were on the stage.
So scoot that camera back.
It doesn't have to be back, but I need to see the energy.
So you can project.
So
you
that
need
I
to
can
see that
see
you can carry. You got to carry
Absolutely.
to that back seat, baby.
Carry that back seat.
Hit that back
So
row.
You got to hit that back row like they in the front row.
That's my tip for
They pay for their ticket just like everybody else.
self-taping for ShawnJ for the theater. I need don't act for the camera. Show me, because like if you're going, I love you, I really love you, and
That ain't it.
I'm going, pass. And I almost passed on someone. And I had someone else in the room. They go, well, call him in. And if that person hadn't been there,
You wouldn't have called
That's
him.
why I don't like self-taping.
Yeah.
That's why I don't like self-taping.
Yeah.
That's for real.
so that's my soapbox, and I'm done.
Well, Denzel said, learn to act on stage. Don't rely on social media. Put it down. Turn it off. Shut up. Be quiet. Learn. Read. Relax. Get better. Now, see, I didn't say that. We didn't say that. Denzel did.
Denzel said it.
Denzel Washington. He said it.
It was good. It's a tool. Remember, it's a tool in your toolbox.
Yeah, it ain't the main course, okay? All right, so women's herstory. We want to spotlight Lorraine Hansberry.
Okay.
Who that?
Lorraine Hansberry was the first Black woman to have a play produced on Broadway and the first Black person to win the prestigious Drama Critics Circle Award for her groundbreaking play, A Raisin in the Sun, which is the most read and widely produced play by a Black American woman.
on.
Did that book get banned? I think something is on the ban. It was the Color Purple book.
Oh,
Probably one of them.
I was like, not Raisin. So the time was 1959, and Lorraine was 28 years old. Okay, 28.
Wow.
It was later a film adaptation that starred many of the original Broadway cast, such as Sidney Poitier, Ruby Dee, Claudia McNeil, Diana Sands, and others.
Financial backers weren't convinced that a play with Black people reciting words, acting would sell, so the show had trial runs in Philadelphia and New Haven, which of course was extremely successful, which guaranteed a Broadway run.
What made it so remarkable was that audiences had never seen the work of a true triple threat: Black playwright, Black director, Lloyd Richards, and all-Black cast on Broadway with no singing, dancing, or slapstick comedy, with a clear social message. It played in the Ethel Barrymore Theater for 19 months and moved to the Belasco Theater for 8 more.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I have to just, it's interesting that this is what we are always somewhat relegated to, either being being funny, dancing and singing, but when we try to be serious, it's like it was like they were surprised by this storytelling of a Black family. It's like they just didn't see us as humans, and that the only thing we could do is either work for you or make you laugh. And I'm like,
Or cook your food.
and some of that is still today.
Girl.
All right, so we wanted to share 3 lesser-known facts about Lorraine that we want to make you aware of. So 1, she actually wanted to be a visual artist, and so she enrolled at the University of Wisconsin at Madison as an applied arts major and took a variety of different courses, including stage design, sculpture, and even performed as an actor.
Which is helpful as a writer. The second less known fact is there were many reviews about Raisin in the Sun that Lorraine wholeheartedly disagreed with, and we all know what that means. Ultimately, she became a critic herself. See, critiquing our own shit.
Yep.
She wrote
Because they not doing it right.
They're not doing it right.
Exactly.
She wrote many letters and spoke about how many critics' understanding of the play was incorrect.
Lorraine had a vision for Black theater. In 1962, she imagined a theater devoted to Black drama, which she called the John Brown Community Theater. It rejected the rules of market and money and was completely devoted to Black Americans. Here is an excerpt she wrote that describes what she envisioned. A theater dedicated to, propagated by the aspirations and culture of the Afro-American people of the United States. A theater wherein the cultural heritage of that people, which owes to their African ancestry, will find expression and growth. Tragically, Lorraine died at the age of 34 from pancreatic cancer. She has left play articles, journals, entries, and other media for us to cherish. The Lorraine Hansberry Theatre is an integral part of her legacy, and that is thriving here in SF Bay Area, and whose artistic director is the Margot Hall. To donate and support the Lorraine Hansberry Theatre, visit lhtsf.org. And to read more about Lorraine's life, I highly recommend, Liz highly recommends a book entitled Looking for Lorraine by Imani Perry.
It's a book entitled Looking for Lorraine by Imani Perry, which was a wonderful resource for this segment. And you know where you can get this book from? I'm going to tell you where I got mine from.
Where you get it from
Marcus Bookstores. It's on Martin Luther King by MacArthur Bar Station. It's a black-owned bookstore.
Come on.
And if you don't live there, I'm sure there's one near you, or you can go to your
order from him online?
Yes, you can.
All right.
And you could go to your local library. Go to your local library, get you a library card, and check it out.
Or another way is call Marcus Books, order it directly from them, and have them ship it to you.
Ooh.
And that way we keep our dollars in the Bay Area.
Yes. Ashe Lorraine, we honor you. We thank you for everything that you have done. You are an incredible.
She's great. Because we mentioned her play in Wild with Happy, which is like the
energy you see, the spirit is like the ancestors. Yes.
Is. And I love the part where she said we needed, and we said this all the time, we need our own black critics of our work because we understand our work and we can be critical of our work, but it's coming from our lens, as we should be. And that forming the own black theater, community. I think it's challenging for us in the Bay Area because we don't have our own spaces, like a building and stuff like that. But I think we're going to get there.
We are.
Because we're going to start banding together.
Yep, that's right.
And creating these venues that are about black theater.
We're going to get us some financial backers, too.
We can actually put on our work without having to worry about other stuff getting in the room, getting in the way of preventing us from telling our stories.
That's right.
Our way.
Yes. All right,
so
y'all.
It looks like it's
time for my favorite time. My favorite
segment, which is
Center Stage Shade.
What does it say, Phaedra?
Acting out the side of your neck. Go ahead.
When your sing partner is telling you how to perform.
Wait a minute. What you mean?
Well, I believe there's several things at play here.
Okay,
right?
come on.
So one is an actor wants to have a one-person show within the ensemble, right? So I'm in a scene with you, and you're doing something, and I go, hey, Phaedra, so on that line, could you actually direct it more at me like this way so that I can respond this way? So basically, they have created their own little moment for that own little scene, and that's not what it's supposed to be about.
Okay. So, you don't discuss bits, moments.
No.
I think I disagree with that. I have to disagree with that.
Okay.
Because there's moments in Fat Ham where things have to happen for it to land and for it to be funny. So we're trying things, right? And when we're trying things, and I went backstage and was like, hey, I tried this earlier. I don't know how I felt with you. How did that feel? And it was like, oh, yeah, let's da-da-da-da-da. And we came up with a moment.
No. You went backstage and you said, did that feel funny? You had a discussion.
Right.
After I did it, though.
After you
I made a
did
choice on stage.
Exactly. Which means you made a choice and it's like, hey, how did that feel? And they go, well, it felt kind of odd. And you go, yeah, that's not what my intent was. It wasn't like, I want you to do this.
No, I'm not going to tell you what to do.
But that's what people are doing.
But I'm going to, but if my bit won't work if you don't respond to it. Does that make sense?
Well, I have to. I'm sorry.
No, come on, because we in different places. Yeah.
I receive that differently because I don't like bits, right? I want things to happen organically, and if it happens on stage because you did something, but my challenge is when actors are thinking about ways to make something, oh, I'm gonna do this, or I'm gonna do this, as opposed to it like letting it happen on its own, because they're thinking, oh, if I do this, this is gonna be funny, and I want my scene partner to respond this way. They've already structured the scene in a way in which they want it to react, and as a director, I'm like going, that's not what I want. Like, you have now created a whole different moment that might be funny and hilarious.
Keep quiet over there.
But it's not.
Well, because I'm processing.
Right, she's processing. But I think for me, because I tell my actors this way, I say, yes, that's funny, but I don't need a bit on top of it, right? Because it's funny as written.
Right.
Now, if there's something that, if you're trying something just to like make it expand, I'm okay with that, but I'm different. I'm not like, as an actor, I don't want you to come to me and go, oh, I'm gonna try this. Just do it.
Yeah, I understand that. I did.
And I will respond accordingly, but don't expect me to respond how you want me to respond, right? So like if you try something and I don't respond how you think I'm gonna respond,
it's gonna be a no.
It just
don't do that shit.
Don't do that shit.
You're right. No, but okay, I'm saying that because there are in Fat Ham there are some places that are like just be. It like literally says in the script, just be black folks. Like just be, and there's no lines.
But it's written.
But it's written to say, just fill the space, right? So in that space, we are having a conversation like, does this work? Is that work?
That's totally different.
And that's what I'm saying. That's why I said I was processing.
That's an exchange.
That's dialogue.
Ideas.
Yeah, but
right.
Like you're not going, hey, so
you're not giving someone a directive.
I'm not giving you I'm not going, girl, so you did this, and can you do this? As opposed to, hey, so in this moment, can we try da-da-da-da?
Okay, so next one. I got another one. There was a moment in which...
Are we still talking about Fat Ham?
Yeah. Well, that's all I'm doing right now. Like, literally, guys, my whole life right now is Fat of the Ham, okay? Okay, so there. There was a moment in which I realized I don't think my character would let somebody do that to me.
Right.
So I mentioned it. But instead of, because they did something and I was like, I don't think my character would allow you to do that. That's what I said.
Okay.
And so.
Pause. So did the actor ask you or did the actor do something?
They were trying.
Okay.
They were trying. And so I was like, hey, I realized you tried that. And the more I thought about it, I don't think she would let you, get that comfortable with her, whatever. And so I tried something. I said, try it again and let me respond.
Right.
And then it worked. Like, it was like, oh, okay. So I think there's...
But did you need to have that discussion, right?
Yeah, I did, because I knew that because it was in the middle of them speaking and me responding to them in a certain way, and they hadn't... We tried it the same way a few times till... They did a certain thing over and over again, and... I let it happen. And then after a couple of times, I was like, you know what? I'm thinking about it. I feel like we need to change this moment because I don't think this is real. So I'm going to, you try that and I'm going to respond in a way I feel like my character would respond.
So why didn't you respond how your character would have responded already?
Because I hadn't gotten there in my process.
Okay. So that makes sense. So I think that
we were learning lines, we were learning staging, we were in a space of like organizing, and once I'm like off book and I'm settled and we're in the play, and things are starting to happen, relationships are starting, like you can see. I don't know. When you're in rehearsals, you see when everybody's light bulb kind of goes, shoom. Like everybody's acting and doing a great job, but when you start to really look in the people's eyes, and you're like, you're not like worried about where I'm supposed to go or where I'm supposed to put this. And there's a lot of foodography in this show, and there's a lot of like moving pieces. So once everybody kind of got rid of the anxiousness of like, oh, I need to go here, relationships are starting to build, and as those are starting to build, I'm starting to know more about who my character is and what they would allow. Yes. And that's how that happened. Okay.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
It makes total sense. But here's what we're really speaking of. That is correct. Having a dialogue, communicating, rehearsing, talking, right? There are actors who actually come in with preconceived notions and a checklist of how they want to try stuff. And they feel, or they anoint themselves
when you come in
with the privilege,
you're not working
or in their
together.
mind, to think that they can tell you what to do. And that is what we're kind of speaking about.
No, it should be. So to that, I guess I gave my take on it as well, so that we could talk about, to that, we need to move towards a place where everybody is working together in the room, right? You show up in the room not to be selfish. You show up in the room not to be, knowing that this piece in the show, no matter if you're the headliner of the show, that you're working with everyone. This is everyone's show, and the story can't just be told with just you, because then it would be a one-woman show.
Right. It's a living, breathing thing,
Yeah,
right?
and
It's
we
changing.
gotta
It's
work
happening
together.
in time.
Especially if you're telling real stories with real people.
Right.
Yeah. And it's collaborative. And I think it's
Absolutely.
but also that speaks to that actor's, I don't want to say process, but where they are in their evolution. Right. Because and I think some younger actors, not all, so I don't want to say all, some, and I don't want to say younger as an age, I mean younger to the craft, coming into the actual process of acting, that they have structured themselves in a way that helps them be like, okay, first I learn my lines. 2, I learn my blocking. 3, it's that way, and that may be how their mind works. But then when they get into a scene with a fellow actor, they have structured it so that they know what to do. And I've seen those actors, and I bless their hearts. It does not make for a wonderful experience in the room, in the rehearsal hall, and creatively.
Yep.
Because it's so constricted and so specific. Like, this has to happen all the time. And that's not theater. Like, it should be fresh and new, and you should discover moments every time.
Right. Oh my gosh.
So that you're like going, because I'm not going to respond to you all. Now, consistency is key. You want to be consistent.
Yes.
But there will be times where I'm going to change an inflection on a word, but the meaning and intent is the same. But if I change an inflection on the word and that throws you, because you have set how you are ready to respond, you're now being a robot and not a craftsperson.
Yeah, that's what I love about live theater.
That's why it ain't for the weak.
It's not for the weak, because you have to learn how to move and shake in any situations. And my inflection may change because, you know what? I dropped my thing over there, and the next thing can happen if you don't pick that shit up. Right? Like that. I'm also talking to, like, we are actively making things happen on stage. Oh my gosh, I love it so much because
you're a craftsperson and a technician.
Yeah.
Yep. And a creative. All of that is happening at the same time. Like, you have to be in your light.
Yep.
You have to be heard.
Yes.
You have to be seen.
Yes. Always.
And you have to say your lines.
And you have to be ready.
Ooh.
And you have to have this exchange of energy in which you are able to respond as another person in the scene, so that we tell the story.
And you have to listen to your audience.
And you have to listen to your audience, because
you let them outlaugh you, your line that's missed, because they're still in a moment and you can't go to the next moment. You have to allow them to swallow it and then move on. You have to understand. You have to hear and breathe and live inside of that space.
So get out of choreographing, directing, scripting yourself in a scene, in a play, because it's not about you. It's about the story and sharing the scene. You know, because some actors do plan out the beats. And then I come along and go, "Oh, baby.
Oh, that don't work.
That beat is way too long."
Oh, it's when they go like this. Well, can we discuss a little bit more? Because I feel that, and I'm like, oh.
And I'm that one. I go, actually, I've heard what you said. I saw what you did. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
So I've seen it. It doesn't
work.
So you can try something else, or I can tell you what to do. Right? At the end of the day, this is the intent of that moment. If you are driving that intent, you will get there. And I've had actors, and that's like at the beginning of the process, and then we openly go, "Hey, you know, when you gave me that note about that," and I go, "Yeah," and they go, "You were right."
Yep.
And I go, "Oh, can say more?" And you go, "Well,"
Tell me more.
They go, well, I see what you were saying. I said, yeah. And they go, you're just letting me get there? Yes.
Yeah, you got to.
Because sometimes you have to discover that
Mm-hmm.
on your own. I can push you only so far. I can only guide you so far, right?
Right.
And then you have to at some point, because I'm not going to let go of it.
No.
Like I'm going, no. And then when you get the audience and you go, oh, 'cause that's what happened. I told an actor, so that beat's just a little too long. Because comedy is about timing.
Oh,
It
it
is.
sure is. It's a rhythm.
It's about timing. And it can't be too long
or too short.
too short. It's like I tell folks it's like a breath. But don't tell the punchline. Like you're leading up to it, breath, boom, and then there's the laugh.
Yeah.
But if you're like here and it messes up everything.
There's a rhythm.
There's a
There's a
timing.
rhythm.
So yeah. So I love this shit.
Me
So
too.
don't do that. Okay, respect the people in the space.
Consideration, respect for the collective.
Absolutely. All right, so we want to tell you about some shows that you should see. Let's start off with dun 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 dun.
Fat Ham. Fat Ham is playing at SF Playhouse, now on stage until April the 19th. For tickets, go to sfplayhouse.org. We also have a discount code for you, so inbox us for that, and we got you.
And that's like 50% off?
Y'all crazy.
Yeah, but we want them to inbox us.
We got a discount
But we just think you won't get that if you don't DM us.
if you don't DM us.
Slide into our DM.
Yep.
Slide in there. All right, next up. This is an interesting situation. 2 trains running at American Conservatory Theatre, April 15th through May 4th, featuring local actor Michael J. Asbury, who was also in Blue Door at Aurora Theatre, alongside an ensemble of Black performers. You see the theme here. Part of August Wilson's Century Cycle, set in 1960s Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, 2 Trains Running tells the story of Memphis Lee, a diner owner in a historically Black neighborhood who must decide if he should allow the government to take over his building or sell the property to a ruthless businessman. Full of vivid characters, joy, hope, love, and perseverance, this Tony-nominated play celebrates the spirit, laughter, heart, and resilience of the people who make our country great, even when faced with overwhelming odds. Runtime is approximately 3 hours with the 15-minute intermission. Okay, I had to put that in there.
Yeah,
so y'all
so
wouldn't
you
be like,
know.
Liz, you told us.
I love that
Crazy
show,
Shaded
though.
told us. Yeah, I saw Gem of the Ocean some years back. Ooh wee. So tickets are at ACT-SF.org. And the reason why I say it was interesting because this same cast is an acting company in a repertory, and they're going to be performing simultaneously. I don't know how they're doing it, but they're doing it in the next show.
The Comedy of Eras at ACTC, playing April 22nd through May 3rd. Dang, that's a lot of work.
It sure
Presented by
is.
the acting company in rep with 2 trains running at ACT-SF.org.
That sounds like fun.
It does
That's
sound
hard
fun.
work.
As an actor,
As
that
an
sounds
actor,
like
yeah.
fun. Like, let's dig in.
I
Ooh,
would
how
love to do
exciting.
that. I would love to do that.
You ain't got no day job.
Nope.
No, that's the point. Next up is Crumbs from the Table of Joy at Aurora Theatre, April 26th through May 25th at auroratheater.org. Has a cast of Jamila Cross,
Yes.
Asia Jackson, David Moore, Carrie Path, and Anna Marie Sharp.
Yes. Thank you for that. We want you to get that butt in a theater seat. We need you in the audience. Word of mouth is one of the best ways that you can inform people of what you're interested in. Tell us what you're interested in, because we try to catch a lot of the shows, but sometimes we don't see everything. So if there's something that we're missing, we would love to hear from you. Email us. We'll drop our email address and inbox us.
So this episode is going to air April 3rd, correct?
Yes, that's
So
correct.
by the time you see this show, some shows would still be running because I think, yes. So Wild with Happy is still running because it closes April 6th.
Oh, it does? Okay, great.
And then Fat Ham will still be playing
Yes.
at SF Playhouse.
So make sure you go out and support these Black actors. It is important to have you in the audience. It makes
very
a huge
important.
difference. And it's important to tell our stories to our people. I know we want to tell our stories to everyone else too, but it does feel good as an artist to have our people in there and knowing our isms, knowing our just knowing our us and how we move in spaces. So and for sure, be loud and heard in those audiences. Don't hesitate to feel what you feel. Don't let the person in front of you see your ticket is just as important as theirs.
He's laughing because I sometimes I don't know what it is about me, but I get the people who are of a lighter skin tone, they be trying to tell quiet people. They they make a comment or they shush me, and I just be like, I'm minding my black business, okay?
Yeah,
and I'm gonna be black up in this
theater.
theater. Another thing, we stay tuned to our Instagrams because we are gonna tell you when we're gonna do those blackout nights. We want to do a blackout night for Creative Shade. Oh my God, for Fat Ham and other shows. So stay tuned for that.
Yes, and I think that's really it. It's just sort of like. We need black bodies in the seats to see black bodies on stage.
Yeah.
So the energy that creates in that space is, it's cray cray. It's makes
important.
It's very important because also you get to take that message as well and move about your day and
heal your community.
And know that what we do and how we live is just as important and just as valid as everyone else.
And I forgot to shout out Scully. It's a little souvenir that I got from attending Fat Ham's dress rehearsal. They're selling these.
Souvenir.
Got a souvenir.
Well, she's shaking that thing.
She's about to spill all the water everywhere.
It's like, girl.
Well, thank y'all so much for hanging out with us today.
Yes.
We love you, and make sure that you go out and support Black theater and theater in general. We are a dying art, so make sure that you're going out and supporting us.
Yes.
That's right. Do what you do best.
Do what you do best. Show up. Because they not like us.
They not like us. They not like us. They not like us. That was so good.
Oh, man.
And on that note, as always, as we sign off, stay fierce, focused, and fabulous. And as always, stay
black.
That
Smooches.
crispy black.
Toodles.
Bye.
But listen.